Okay, so we've got our three designs, we've got our three different names, we've developed them in different ways, we've got loads of development work in there as well. What do we do with the logo next? Well, normally at this point we'll be placing it onto whatever sort of media that you're going to place it onto. What we're going to do though is we're going to have to create a public survey, and the reason the public survey has got to be in there is because in the spec it does ask us to look at presenting graphs in bar charts or pie charts or whichever. So what I've done is I've literally created just that. Okay, so this shouldn't take up too much of your design sheets. It's literally just ticking a box really in some ways, and what you need to do is whichever design that you want to take forward. I'm not expecting you to go and ask 100 people and do a survey of 100 people. All that you do is you sort of make the figures work so it's the one that you want to do at that point. All we're doing is showing the examiner we've considered it. So what I've done is I've created my three final logos, and you can see right at the top here they are. Logo number 1, logo number 2, logo number 3. I've chosen one in my head which I think would work best, but what I have done is I've created a public survey to see if we can actually justify what I've done. So what I've done on here is I've referred to other pages. You can see on page 12 the target market. I've already explained who it is that I'm going to actually be designing for, so it makes sense that you write in your selection who are you going to ask to choose from them. Now if you're designing stuff for teenagers, you're not going to ask middle-aged people or old-aged pensioners which designs are best. You're going to focus on that, and you need to specify that. I'll put down here that the market was asked to rate the one that they thought was the best type of shop frontage that I was going to produce. Now if you're not doing a shop frontage, what you need to do is just change it to corporate identity. So if you still don't know what product you're doing, keep it simple, just keep it as a corporate identity, rather than actually say it's for a game, it's for a shop front, it's for a van, and leave it at that. Okay, so what we've done next then is the public was asked closed questions to produce quantitative data to analyse. Closed questions means you don't give them an opinion. It's a yes, no, you can either have this or you can have that. Open-ended questions allow them to give you more qualitative data, and qualitative data is harder to produce a graph for. So keep the questions short, keep them simple. The public was shown the images and asked the following questions. 25 people were asked in total. So literally out of 25 people, which is the class, all I did was ask the class, and the class said, these are the results. Right, okay. Now the questions, which are the names of the game shop do you prefer? Which typeface do you prefer? Which texture do you prefer? I've actually placed on top as the title of the graph. Now, when you present graphs, you must make sure that all the axes are labelled, and you must make sure that it has a title. It's as if we're doing it in mathematics. Everything that we're doing here needs to be the same. You need to have a key. You need to explain what the actual key is. What does it mean? You need to give them percentages. Now the computer will do all this for you, and we'll look at that in a second, how to use Excel and how to generate these drawings. Okay, so you can see that I've got yellow, orange and a sort of a darker orange, so that matches my design sheet, and you can change these colours to fit in whatever colour scheme you are using. Please remember you are doing a graphics product specification. Presentation is everything. Picking up on things like the colour scheme of the graphs compared to the border and to the logos, etc. is essential. Okay, so keep it consistent, it needs to be in here. Perhaps more so than the product designers, but it does need to be in here. Right, now you can see all my graphs are the same. That's because I ask the same sort of questions. You'll just make your graphs different, just for the purpose of doing this. The reason I've done it this way is it avoids people copying me, and it speeds my teacher time up as well. So that's what we've actually looked at, and then all I've done there is said that the graphs are out of percentages, so I've times everything by 4, and I've given some sort of a summary of what I found out and what I didn't find out. So for example, even when I asked the public, although they chose number 2, which is epsilon 5, which is one that I wanted them to choose, so I juggled the figures to make that happen, but some of the feedback that I took on was that it's not the best presented, and that the winning design could be developed a bit further, basically, which is what I'm going to look at. So I've put some sort of that in the summary. So what you need to do is literally present your designs, your 3 final designs at the top. They are going to be developed more because development is right the way through. Design just doesn't stop when you start the making processes. If you actually build something that looks exactly to a design, you're either very good, very professional, or the design isn't that good. The designs evolve, it develops. That's what designs do. That's what makes the subject so interesting. It's each year it's different. The designs and new technologies change, and it pushes the boundaries. And so that's what we've got to show, evolution. Okay, so once we've done that, that is pretty much our public survey, and it will literally from here on in end this section of creating your corporate identity, and then it's more a case of how you're going to put this corporate identity onto a product, and that will be the second part of your designing and linking into your making as well. So we sort of summed up this sort of area, final designs from the designing, the slogans, etc., into the public survey. And obviously we haven't mentioned the slogans yet, but that'll be just something I'll take off and place on when we look at the next stage, which is development of a corporate identity into different medias. Okay, so what I need to do now is do a quick demonstration on how to use Excel to create these graphs, and it really is quite simple. I'll do that one as a separate sort of video because some of you may already know it and just think, well, I don't need to know that. But once we've done that, the next stage will be to develop my winning design, which is Epsilon 5. At this point, you should have probably about 15 to 16 sheets in your folder, and at this point, you should have a clear idea and a finished design logo ready to transport across onto different medias. If you haven't, you've got a lot of work to do to catch up. Failing that though, really we should be looking at having an idea complete from start to finish, from the design situation to this is probably in about 8 weeks, which would result out of all the design and makings. It's only 40 hours that you get. Probably you should have had about 18 hours worth of your coursework on this already. Okay, so the next stage then is to do a quick video on how to use Excel, and then from there we're going to look at how we're going to take this design and place it onto different mediums.